Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the coming month in today's video. So it's JMA Friday. We'll have a look at Japanese AMA CFS models to see what they're showing for the next month. And this takes us over the Christmas period and into just the start of 2016, can you believe? So we leave the year only just though with this update. So we'll have a look at the charts in a moment, but before we get on with that, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on basic gas office, have a browse widgets and click through links. There's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most of the pages. They open up with content when you watch the close back up again. That's help to pay for the website. And the Christmas shop is open, so if you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, just click through the Amazon banners in the Christmas shop, go to Amazon and do your Christmas shopping there, because you're going from gas office to Amazon. We get a revenue fee on the things that you are purchasing, and thanks very much for getting involved. Thanks for doing that. Been a huge success this year. So just to start off with the situation for the next 24 hours, because we've got some very stormy weather coming up. It's going to be in the north tonight, and then further south tomorrow. So it's this area of low pressure here around Iceland at 6 o'clock this evening. You see, even then the ice bars are tight across many parts of the country, so it'll be windy even by the time we get through to the end of this afternoon, particularly so in the north and west, where you could have gusts of wind across western Scotland and Northern Ireland up to 60 or 70 miles an hour. As we go through the night, the worst of the winds will start to transfer southwards, so it'll be across particularly the Irish Sea in towards northern England and North Wales by the time we get through to tomorrow morning. Still windy in the north, but less so than it will be sort of this evening and overnight up there. And then through the course of tomorrow, this is 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, we'll keep it very windy across many parts of the country. Again, particularly focus through Ireland, around the Irish Sea, in towards northern England, North Wales and parts of the North Midlands as well, where again 50, 60 mile an hour gusts certainly seem possible. That is enough to do structural damage. Even in the south it will be quite windy, so a bit of a blowy old 24 hours coming up. There's going to be heavy raining with this as well, particularly on the western side of high ground, so across western Scotland and southwest Scotland, many parts of Northern Ireland, northwestern England, around the Irish Sea coast into North Wales. You can expect copious amounts of rain over the next 24 hours. So we've already had a lot of rain, so I won't be at all surprised if we start to have increased concerns with flooding actually over the next few days. As we go through into Sunday, that will probably start to push a little bit further northwards for a halving swing southeastwards through Sunday itself as a weakening feature. But you see there's more pulses of rain here out in the Atlantic, probably to bring unsettled conditions in certainly through the start of next week. So expect quite a lot of rain and a lot of wind over the next few days. So have a look at the JMA then for the coming month. This is the 500 millibar heights anomaly for the first weekly period. This takes us 3 weeks we're currently in, the 4th through to the 11th of the month of December. So blue is extrapolating to low pressure, orange and red extrapolating to high pressure. So what we see for the coming week is that got a deep trough of low pressure course in the Atlantic. This big ridge here across many parts of Europe means the jet stream is going rather like that. It is a mild week coming up, a mild direction for the jet stream and for the air masses, but also very unsettled, particularly in the northwest. Less bad, less unsettled in the southeast, but all places at risk of some rain. And the tight lines here indicating the jet stream. It's a very strong jet stream coming right through the country of the Atlantic. So that implies there could be some significant wind going on as well. So wet, windy, but mild for the coming week. The next weekly period, going from the 11th through to the 18th of December, is staying unsettled, but it's subtly different. The heights are pulling out into the Atlantic more from Europe, so really high pressure through the central Atlantic, trough of low pressure to the north of Scotland. It is still unsettled, but it means that things are going more like that, and we're sending the jet stream more to a northwest southeast trajectory, so that's cooler. Probably not necessarily desperately cold, but it's certainly cooler than the first week for coming week through about middle part of December, and still unsettled in the north. So there is wintry potential in with that actually for the north of the country in particular. Excuse me. We go through to week 3 and week 4, which is taking us from the 18th through to the 1st of January. So we go to New Year's Day with this update, which I think is 4 weeks today. And with this one, we find the deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic, extending down through the central part of the Atlantic. A little bit of ridging starting to build over Scandinavia. That's a bit more interesting, as the jet stream is going rather like that. So this is still unsettled up to the end of the year. It's still Atlantic source weather. Probably fairly chilly as well, because we're losing that long fetch southwesterly. But keep an eye on this ridge. Well, we will have to keep an eye on this ridge that's building across Scandinavia and western parts of Russia. That doesn't look like influencing us up to the end of December, but as we get into January, let's just see where that goes. It'll be interesting whether that is developed more as we go through to next week's update. The CFS V2 next, so these again 500 high anomalies from the CFS V2. And the coming week, very good representation of what's just looking at from the JMA. So we've got the ridge across many parts of Europe, a strong area of high pressure there, deep troughs of low pressure in the Atlantic, means the jet stream is going like that. It's a mild but unsettled type scenario as we go through the first week of December. Now, the next weekly period goes from the 11th through to 17th. This one, the JMA is telling things a little bit more cooler, probably aligning things northwest to southeast as opposed to southwest to northeast. The CFS still keeps things mild though, so we've got the low pressure around Iceland, but we've still got this very strong ridge here across many parts of Western and Central Europe, which means we're still doing that with the jet stream sending the air masses from a southwest to northeast trajectory, which is a mild direction. But the third weekly period, running up to Christmas, this is the 18th to the 24th of December, shows a change with this trough of low pressure almost sinking down across the country. So this is very unsettled, but it probably is cooler as well as the jet stream goes like that. We would, I think, be entrenching cooler air into that trough from the northwest. So it takes a little bit longer to get there compared to the JMA, but both going in the same direction, which is for a cooler spell sometime through the middle part of the month and leading up to Christmas. Again, don't think this is severe cold because there's no blocking over the top of the pole, but it is cooler with the air coming from a cooler part of the Atlantic Ocean. However, we go back to the same pattern really we had before for the final week of the month. This is for Christmas week, 25th of December through to New Year's Eve. And it's the same thing really with pressure building through central parts of Europe, low pressure in the Atlantic, sends the jet stream rather like that. That might be the start of the JMA's idea of building the pressure around Scandinavia, I'm not sure, but that would be generally quite a mild end to December on that sort of setup. This is confirmed by the temperature anomaly, so the first weekly period before temp looking significantly milder than average, which you would expect. The 11th through to the 17th, when the JMA wants to be a little bit cooler, the CFS still going very mild then. The third weekly period is mild but cooler, so particularly for the north it does turn a bit cooler running up towards Christmas. In the south it is still milder than average, and then we end the month on a very mild note there from Christmas Day through to New Year's Eve. Really mild temperatures once more. Rainfall anomalies look like this, so the coming week significantly wetter than average. The next weekly period isn't as wet, but it is still a bit above average with the rainfall. Third weekly period, again this is the cooler one running up towards Christmas, and it is wetter than average, more focused to the south, so again that's telling us that we're sending things more northwest to southeast with the jet stream, probably getting some southerly tracking low pressures to the south of us, but there could be wintry potential in there that week, particularly for the north. And then finally, the last week of the month, the 25th through to the 31st of December, looking bit wetter than average as well. That's when it's turning significantly milder also. We may be seeing signs from the GFS of this cooler phase coming up in the second half of the month, so just leave you with this. This is the extended range of GFS. I don't normally show you this, but at the moment it is starting to go a little bit cooler into the second part of December. So this is for a week's time. Still generally quite mild and unsettled with low pressure around the country. What happens is that the trough increasingly shifts to the east as we go through the weekend of the 12th, 13th of December, start to bring cooler air down from the north And then we have these areas of low pressure around the country. And you'll notice the black line here, which is the jet stream, it's generally aligning in that sort of direction. So it's generally going northwest to southeast, which is allowing cooler air to start to move in from the north, from Greenland, into these troughs of low pressure. So turning cooler up to the middle part of the month, this is 15th of December, but still very unsettled, which does give the risk of wintry potential for the north. We actually built a little bit of ridging in the Atlantic on this latest run of the GFS in the second half of the month, going up towards Greenland. Not sure about that. But again, it's the same idea, northwest to southeast trajectory with the jet stream, allowing cold air to dig into these troughs of low pressure in the second part of the month, running up towards Christmas. There's the upper air temperatures, for example, on the 18th of December within the -5 isotherm. That's about as far out as we can go with the GFS this morning. Let's just have a quick look at this as far as we can go. This is only the 20th, 384 hours away, and still the same idea. A bit of a southerly tracking jet stream getting going there, and cold air is coming down from the north. We have got heights building, particularly around western parts of Greenland. Now that's a very long way off, but it sort of is backed up a little bit by what we're just looking at from the GFS and the JMA, which is, although we are very mild at the moment, we'd like to stay very mild up to the middle part of the month. Probably the trend in the second half of the month running to Christmas is to turn things cooler. Again, don't necessarily be thinking we're talking about severe cold and heavy snow, prolonged conditions. Probably won't be like that, but turning cooler, some wintry potential probably, particularly for the north, coming in the second half of the month, and just a little bit more seasonable feeling really as we run up towards Christmas. That's the idea this morning anyway from these models. We will continue to watch what's happening over the next few days. Tomorrow is weekend forecast, so come back for that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.